US President Donald Trump today said he had given orders to postpone any military strikes against Iran's power plants for 5 days. He posted on his Truth Social that the US and Iran had good and productive conversations over the past 2 days about a complete and total resolution of hostilities in the Middle East. Stay tuned, because I'm going to tell you that as far as the Islamic Republic of Iran stays in power, no one should expect a lasting peace deal between the United States and Iran. Apart from that, I'd like to tell you that it's high time you Americans stop worrying about the consequences of this war. Stop worrying about rising cost of living due to your country's war against the regime in Tehran. The issue of Iran should be addressed head on, otherwise a nightmare awaits you. Yes, many points to the serious risks of a prolonged conflict, a wider regional war that is already underway, and long-term global consequences, especially economic effects beyond the temporarily rising cost of living. However, I'm telling you that whether you support this administration or not, you voted for Donald Trump or not, it makes no difference. I'm telling you why. You'd better know one thing. For the Iranian regime, there is no such thing as good Americans versus bad Americans. As far as they are concerned, if you're American, they see you as their enemy. This is not because of the current war or the US bombing of Iran's nuclear sites back in June 2024. It's simply because they are radical fanatics. They have set themselves the goal of continuing to war until the day comes when their ideology will dominate the world, every corner of the world, including the United States of America. In the Islamic Republic of Iran's constitution, jihad, to be exact, jihad in the way of God, is explicitly mentioned. It said that Iran's armed forces have not only a defensive role, but also an ideological mission, which is jihad in the way of God. The relationship between the United States and Iran has been tense for decades, always has been tense. Tensions were high from the beginning, remained high, and even worsened. On November 4, 1979, in Tehran, during what is known as the Iran hostage crisis, a group of Iranian students, backed by the new regime, stormed the US embassy in Tehran and took 66 Americans hostage. They were held hostage for 444 days. In 1983, in two devastating terrorist attacks against US personnel in Beirut, Lebanon, 258 Americans were killed. Both bombings were widely believed to have been carried out by militants linked to Hezbollah, the military wings of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps of Iran in Lebanon. There have also been many other terrorist attacks against Americans. US administrations, one after another, made attempts to deal with Iran in a way that would make it less hostile toward the West, managing the situation. But every attempt has been in vain. I'm telling you. What happened when the United States decided to withdraw its troops from Lebanon in 1984, a year after the two bombings that I mentioned earlier? Did it make Iran less hostile? Or did it pave the way for Iran to take control of Lebanon and start planning to attack Israel? What happened when the United States decided to withdraw most of its troops from Iraq? The same thing happened. as in Lebanon? What happened when Barack Obama in 2015, out of his conviction that he would be able to make a difference and that diplomacy should prevail, signed a nuclear deal with Iran? He agreed to send suitcases full of cash worth billions of dollars to Tehran to curb Iran's nuclear ambitions. I'm telling you that for Iranian authorities, there is no difference between Barack Obama and Donald Trump. Some analysts suggest that if Donald Trump hadn't withdrawn the United States of America from the 2015 nuclear deal, Iran would have remained compliant with its provisions. But I should simply say that it's not true. That's it. Iran had, on several occasions, refused the International Atomic Energy Agency's IAEA's demands for inspection visits long before Trump's first presidency. Can anyone imagine what would have happened if Iran had built nuclear weapons before the 12-day war of Israel and US against Iran in June last year, when America got involved destroying Iran's nuclear sites? Iran is a strategic threat, and it has always been one. If it's not dealt with properly, it will continue to destabilize the region even further. Failing to act decisively could put the world in greater danger. On the other hand, every American citizen across the political spectrum should consider a vital point. Islamic regime of Iran has taken the people of Iran hostage. That is, 90 million people hostage. In 2024 alone, according to Iran's own state statistics, the regime executed 2,000 Iranians. What happened back in January this year when they massacred protesters across the country was just a small part of what the regime has done against humanity for the past 47 years. This time, the mass killing of protesters received media coverage as the United States and Israel has grown increasingly frustrated with the regime. So, support your own administration in its attempts to weaken the regime and eventually toppling the regime in Tehran, destroying its military, nuclear, and missile capabilities, and help people in Iran overthrow the regime. However, it's important to support the democratic forces in Iran that have the capacity to bring about democracy. In a future discussion, I'll explain how an American philosopher 30 years ago, exactly 30 years ago, anticipated many of the developments related to Iran that are unfolding today. If you know who I'm talking about, please drop your answer in the comments.